Hey, Malcolm, and I know that you guys are very when you look at the markets today because gold is down by over $50, and when we look at the stock market over in Europe, which is less than 13 minutes to go for the stock market to close, it is nothing but a bloodbath. We are seeing major move to the downside, and investors and traders are very concerned. The question is, why are we seeing this major downward trend? And if there is an opportunity in the stock market, this is what we are going to discuss with you guys. But remember, as always, nothing can be taken as an advice. This is purely for educational purposes. So I just wanted to make sure that the disclaimer is very clear. Now, as always, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out my Bloomberg platform, first of all, in front of you, just to show you guys that, okay, where that stock market is really trading and what exactly it looks like. So on the Bloomberg terminal, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys that what exactly is going on with the global market. So what we have right over here, this is the Dow Jones Industrial Index, right? This is the main U.S. stock index. If you wanted to buy if you wanted to see where the U.S. stock market is trading at, you look at Dow Jones, you look at the S&P. The S&P is right over here. The Dow Jones Index, what it tells me by looking at over here is that, look, Dow Jones is down well over 900 points. That is incredible. That is a really, really big sell-off when it comes to the Dow Jones, right? Because we don't really see this much of an intense sell-off, especially for the U.S. market. We haven't seen it at least since since July this year. That is a very, very big sell-off. And then let's continue to monitor it and how exactly it is. And I wanted to explain it to you guys. If there isn't an opportunity here, and then how to bank on that opportunity. Similarly, S&P 500 index is down nearly 100 points, something that we haven't seen in a long time. NASDAQ, this represents your tech index, this represents your top 100 NASDAQ stocks, and that this is really big for the US, and that is down by well over 256 points. Again, another opportunity. These sell-offs that we are seeing, this is an opportunity, but timing is more important. Price levels are more important. Entry points are more important. That is what I wanted to explain it to you, and I will show it to you in a very simple way how to trade them, how to look for an opportunity, where the important support, meaning the buy orders can really come in. What is a really a good price level with respect to that. So let's go and have a look at that quickly, because we don't want it to continue to drag this conversation and then just let it drag. So what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the Nasdaq 100 right in front of you, first of all. So what I see on the Nasdaq 100 is I see this is a weekly chart, right? This is your Nasdaq 100. As you can see it, let me just change the cursor a little bit, change it into line, right? So this is Nasdaq, and then this is the weekly chart. The one question is saying, what is the difference between a weekly chart, monthly chart, daily chart, and hourly chart? First, the longer that the time frame is, like how your weekly and monthly and then daily chart it is easy for you to time the market. It is easy for you to get into that market at a much better price, and it is much easier for you to get out of the market at a much better price levels, because these price levels have a lot of importance. So right now, when I look at this, what I see is I see an opportunity. I see that, yes, okay, the current sell-off is really, really intense, but for me, here isn't an opportunity. I think if this market continues the way that it is going, right? So right now it is going right in this direction. I think if this market is going to bounce, then it is highly likely for this market to bounce back from this level, and then that is the level that I'm really looking at. But if this level doesn't work, then what is the next level of a price if you wanted to buy Nasdaq, where the price can really come back into another important area? For me, that price level could be in around where the 50-week moving average is. If you are wondering what these price levels are, this is a 50-week average price for the Nasdaq. This over here is your 100-week average price for the Nasdaq, and finally, this is your 200-week average price for the Nasdaq index. These are very, very important price levels. At these price levels is the point where we see institutional banks, hedge funds really coming in and then taking that trade. So that is why I am very, very focused on these price levels as always. So whenever price comes into these levels, I like that. Why am I discussing Nasdaq 100 index? Why am I not looking at the Dow Jones and the S&P? Folks, if this is a correction, if this is another stock market crash, trust me, This is the index which is going to see the biggest bounce as always, because in any of the previous crashes, if we have learned anything, it is your tech sector where you want it to be to go long the most, because this is going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that we don't have to look at the S&P 500 index. We can certainly look at the S&P 500 index, and in terms of a price level, where am I looking at my next important entry point? My next important entry point is going to be in around this area where its 50-week moving average is trading. Again, look what time frame I'm really referring to, you guys. I am looking at weekly time frame, and that in terms of my resistance, or in terms of my target, in terms of where I wanted to get rid of, or wanted to start taking my profit, it is near 3,500. So right now the market is actually into an important area of support, and that important area where market can actually bounce, if the sell-off doesn't really become more worse from here. For example, just like how I explained it to you earlier, market comes over here in this area, and then we see this big bounce from here, and the market starts to move back up. If that happens, that's wonderful. That is really, really wonderful. But if that doesn't happen, then the next price level that, my friends, that I'm really looking at is going to be in this area, and then that is what I am more important. That is where I'm more focused on. Now, in terms of gold prices, just very quickly to have a look on that, you see that big move. We haven't seen this sort of a big move on a daily time frame since this particular time period. Now, this particular time period was back in August. August 19 was the time when we saw this big move for gold prices. Now, the question is, if you guys are asking, name, tell us if there is an opportunity, where could be those important price levels in terms of that? My friends, that price level is going to be near its 100-day average moving price. This is your simple moving average. This is your 100-day. This is your 50-day, and this is your 200-day. Just the average price for those particular days, nothing more than that. When the price stays above that, it is, let's say if the price comes like this, right? Let me just explain it to you, the concept of it. So the price comes like this, and then it touches it, and the moment that it breaks below, boom, that is your short, just like how it happened over here. And then similarly, if the price going to come over here, so if you are short selling this one over here, then you come over here and then boom again. But short is a little bit too complex subject. But in general terms, let's say that the price comes over here and then it crosses over here, that's fine. Either it can just touch this line and then boom, it can go back up, or what it can do is it can just come over here, break a little bit, and then boom, it goes back up. So both ways it can work. But the concept is that the moment that the price goes above that, you buy it. That is your price level. It is simple as that. There's no complications with this particular strategy, and that is what we are really focused on. So gold today has seen really, really major moves. So once again, to summarize, stock market is in a major turmoil. The major turmoil is because of one particular reason. Everyone is worried that national lockdowns are coming. Many national lockdowns are coming. As I said earlier, this is the biggest one. And if you wanted to read a little bit more into that, folks, there is no better place than go over here in my recent article. I have just published it on Forbes. So go and have a look on this article. Go to Forbes, and then I've explained all this article in much more detail, why the stock market is crashing, where the markets are likely to go, and how deep this sell-off could be. What are the stocks that you can potentially look at? I think all of that is quite really, really important for you guys to read and then to really digest that. Let me know, as always, if this makes sense to you. If this is too complicated for you, then I can even make it more simpler. So right over here, as you can see, I'm explaining over here that look, European stock markets are crashing. So okay, so if they're crashing, which indices are crashing? I've explained it to you over here. Again, Dow Jones and S&P are really crashing. And I explained that why they are crashing, because they cross below those important moving averages. What I mean by that is when we talk about the S&P 500 index, which say I'm explaining in this one that on a daily time frame, the price levels are very, very much crossing. I don't know why it's still stuck on the daily, but should show on a daily. This is not a daily time. There you go. Now it's daily. That the price level has crossed important critical price levels, the S&P, and it is likely to move lower. So today the price has crossed below the 100-day moving average. This is very, very critical when it comes to this. And this is exactly what I am explaining about that. So why is more selling to come? I explain about that, and then how it is going to impact the consumer and economic confidence. Could there be another national lockdown in the US? And I also answer that question. I represent my view on about that. And what is the trade here? Which stocks to look at? So all the stocks that I think that are really good in terms of that, they are right over here. And in terms of the market or the bankruptcies, I also talk about all of that in great detail. Have a look at it. Let me know what you think. Thank you.